Hi, welcome. Also, today's topic is decoding the cybersecurity and cyber resilience guidelines circular issued by IFSCA authority. In this video, I'll cover the applicability, to which entities it is applicable, then which entities are exempted from fully compliance of these guidelines, that is a few relaxations provided to the exempted categories of entities, then conditions which must be fulfilled even for the exempted category entities, then what is the validity or say timeline of this exemption, then uh, what all compliances should be done and within what time period, and to whom to submit the documents for doing the compliances, and the most important FAQs or the common confusion points which will be raised in your mind while doing the compliance for this guidelines. I'll cover the both original issued this guidelines on 10th March 2025 and amended on 10th March 2026. So be in the video until the end. If you haven't subscribed my channel yet, or if you haven't seen the other compliance related topics videos, especially for the IFSC compliances, you can simply check on my channel. So let's start. Applicability. To which entities this guidelines or circular is applicable? To every regulated entity. That means every regulated entity means any entity which is recognized or licensed or authorized or registered with the IFSCA authority, that is IFSC authority, then that entity will be considered as a regulated entity. That means every entity registered in IFSC jurisdiction will be considered as a regulated entity, irrespective of the type or category of entity. It is applicable to every regulated entity. Next, which entities are exempted from complying the requirements? Okay, so if your entity is formed in the branch of your parent or the holding company in the IFSC jurisdiction, then or if the regulated entity is providing services to its group companies only, or any regulated entity having less than 10 employees in the IFSC jurisdiction only. Then if you are falling with anyone, fulfilling any one of this criteria, then you will be covered for taking the exemption. Okay. Here the word is or, not and. If you are fulfilling any one of criteria, then you will be covered as an exempted category. Next, which conditions you must have to fulfill for taking the exemption of the whole or full requirement of this guidelines. First, adopt the CSCR, that is Cybersecurity and Cyber Resilience Framework and Information Security Policy of the parent entity or the holding company of the parent company, that is ultimate parent company. For example, if you have formed in the branch form in the IFSC jurisdiction, then your parent entity and the parent entity is also the wholly owned subsidiary of some another entity, then that ultimately parent entity, you can adopt the policy of either your parent entity or the ultimate parent entity. Then second condition, CISO. So the CISO, Chief Information Security Officer of the parent entity or the holding company of parent entity, that is ultimate parent entity, has to be appointed as the designated officer for of the regulated entity. Okay. Next, okay, your parent entity or the holding company of parent entity must be regulated or by any regulator or the government authority. Okay, earlier they have mentioned the word financial regulated, but in the amended circular they have removed the financial regulated word. They have simply mentioned the any regulator or the government authority, either in home jurisdiction or in the foreign jurisdiction. That means either in India or the home jurisdiction. It may be within India or the foreign jurisdiction. Next, annual cybersecurity audit report submission. So you have to also submit the cybersecurity audit report on annual basis, and that timeline I'll mention in the later part of video. Okay, so this is mandatory requirement. The audit should be conducted by the independent auditor. I have prepared separate video on this who can conduct the cybersecurity audit. So you can simply check the link for that video in the description box. Next, certification from designated officer. Okay, so you have to also submit the designated officer of the regulated entity. That can be the CISO of the parent entity, who has been appointed as a designated officer of regulated entity. They have to certify that all the processes or systems have been adopted or taken place in line with the guidelines issued by the IFSCA in this circular. They have to certify and they have to submit the same to the IFSCA authorities. Okay. Next. Okay, there are other exemptions provided, additional exemption provided if you are falling in these categories. Like if you have set up in the form of foreign university in IFSC jurisdiction, or credit rating agency in IFSC jurisdiction, or if you are newly incorporated entity in IFSC jurisdiction in the standalone format. That means you don't have any parent or holding company. Okay. In such case, you don't need to fulfill all these five conditions. You only need the certification from designated officer regarding to the proportionate of risk to your entity. You are taking the cybersecurity measures. So the words and the lines are already written in the circular. I will mention the link for circular in the description box. You can take that words while drafting the certification for further submission. Okay. Next, validity of the exemptions. So this exemption are valid to this exempted categories only for the period of 3 years from the date of issuance. So here, whether it is from the original date of circular issuance or amended date of circular issuance, that I'll cover in the FAQ part. That this is very important point. Next, to whom to submit. So to corresponding IFSCA department. So depending upon your type of entity, either you are FME or finance company, or you are broker dealer, that means you are CMI. So depending upon the your entity type, you have to submit to your corresponding IFSCA department or the division in charge of the supervision. This two, certification from designated officer and this annual cybersecurity audit report within the prescribed timelines. Okay. So these are the requirement. You don't need to submit separately to the cybersecurity division. You can simply send to your corresponding applicable division. Okay. Next, what all compliances has to be done? First, amend the policy. That means this CSCR and IS policy, which you are adopting the same of the parent or the holding company of the parent entity. Then you have to amend to the extent that it is also applicable to the regulated entity which is situated in the IFSC jurisdiction. For that, if you are in the form of company, then you have to pass the board resolution for that, and accordingly you have to amend that policy and adopt in the regulated entity. Next, pass the resolution for appointment of designated officer. So if you are falling in this category, your CISO of parent or ultimate parent will be your designated officer, then you will require to pass the resolution for appointment of the CISO of parent entity as the designated officer of the regulated entity. Next, okay, appointment of the auditor. So for this annual cybersecurity audit, you will require the independent auditor. Now, who can be appointed? What are the qualifications requirement? I have prepared separate video which I have mentioned link in the description box. Okay, so you will need to make an appointment of the auditor by passing the board resolution. Next, submission of the report and certificate. This annual cybersecurity audit report and this certificate from the designated officer. Okay. So for this cybersecurity audit, you can conduct annually, or if you find that your entity is in such a risk category, then you may also conduct at other period like quarterly or half yearly. So IFSCA has prescribed annual, but it is not necessary that you have to conduct annually only. You can also choose the lesser frequency, like higher frequency of audit, like you can conduct quarterly, half yearly, but annually you must have to do. Okay. Yeah. Next. Okay. Okay, if your regulated entity is required to submit the annual report to MII, that is Market Infrastructure Intermediaries. So if your entity is in the form of say broker, dealer or depository participant, clearing member, then you will also have to require the submit the annual cybersecurity report to Market Infrastructure Intermediary, that is the stock exchange, clearing corporation, depository. Then you can use the same annual report for further submitting to IFSCA. And the timeline for that is within submission to MII, you have to submit the same report within 7 days from the submission to MII. Okay. Okay. Now FAQs, this is the most important part. Okay. First, 3 years from which date? So here you have to consider 3 years from the original circular or say original issuance of the guidelines date. That is 10th March 2025. So such guidelines were applicable from 1st April 2025. So you have to consider that exemption will be available to you for 3 financial year, that is first 25-26, 26-27 and uh, 27-28. Okay, for the 3 years you will get the exemption. So from I'm mentioning here, okay, from 25-26, 26-27 and 27-28, this 3 financial year you will get the exemption. So from 1st April 28 onwards, 28-29 financial onwards, you will not get any exemption. You have to fully comply with the all the requirements of this guidelines. It may come up with another amended circular, so you have to fulfill that accordingly. But this is for the 3 years from the original issuance of this circular, not the amended circular. Okay, so the exemption will be until 27-28. Even though you have set up your entity say in the this financial year 26-27, then also you have to you will be eligible for the exemption until this financial year end only. It is not that 3 years from your date of incorporation, it is from the 3 years of issuance of the guidelines. Okay, next, who can be appointed as designated officer? So for this branch or group entities or having less than 10 employees, it is CISO, it is written that CISO can be appointed as the designated officer. Now in case you are falling in this category, for example foreign university, credit rating agency, newly incorporated entity, then it is possible there is no CISO, there won't be any CISO, right? Then in such case, you can appoint the designated officer. Like they haven't mentioned any qualification requirement, but they expect that the person should be having sound knowledge and should be capable enough to understand the compliance and make the compliances according to the guidelines. So they have mentioned the person who is a senior management employee or the from the management employee. Okay, so since they haven't prescribed the qualification, you have to check accordingly according to the your organization structure and appoint the most suitable person as the designated officer. Next, do we need to make the intimation for the exemption? So the answer is no. There is no such requirement that we are fulfilling this requirement, this criteria, and we are become the exempted entity. There is no such requirement while making this submission, that annual cybersecurity audit report submission and certificate from designated officer, they will understand that you are falling in this exempted category, and then therefore you are complying making this compliances on at that time. Also you can mention that you are in the exempted category if you wish so. Okay, but there is no such requirement to send separate communication for this making intimation. Next, parent or holding company. So if you are in a branch, your parent entity will be your then it will be parent entity, and in case that parent entity is also wholly owned subsidiary of any company, then ultimate holding company, that is ultimate parent company, you can take the appoint the CISO for that, or you can adopt the policy of that ultimate parent entity as well. Okay, next, annual audit report for which financial year? Okay, so this is very important and crucial. Okay, so it is applicable for the financial year 25-26. Then the due date becomes 90 days from the end of financial for submission of this annual cybersecurity audit report and certification from the designated officer. So the due date will be 30th June 2026 for the financial year audit 2025-26. So if you haven't appointed your auditor yet, please make an appointment and do the necessary audit for your regulated entity for the financial year 2025-26 and submit the report and the certificate by 30th June 2026 to the corresponding IFSCA authorities. This is very crucial. It's applicable from 25-26 onwards. Okay, so the due date will be 30th June 2026. Okay, next, which are the MIIs? So market infrastructure intermediaries that are stock exchange, India, INX, NSE, International Exchange, and the clearing corporation of both this exchange and the one depository. Okay, that's all for this video. If you still have any question or query regarding this topic or any other topic, you can simply write in the comment section. If you have find this video helpful, please like and share with your friends. Thank you.